Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today is another post-run experience for me, and I'm going to be talking about active listening skills. Recently on this channel, somebody asked, why are you filming in the bath again, in the bathtub? And in that very video itself, if not the prior video, but I'm pretty sure in that very video, I mentioned that I was experiencing tremendous pain. And so I'd been soaking my feet because of one of the difficulties I was experiencing on a specific toe on my foot. And in those videos, I theorized as far as, what might be happening, what kind of energy might have been causing those type of experiences, and maybe even prolonging those experiences. And I even talked in the past about how to return some of that negative energy and turn it into positivity. So again, to the person who asked why I was taking baths and recording these videos, first of all, they said that it was getting kind of strange. You don't have to watch these videos. You can subscribe to some other channel. You can choose to unsubscribe from channels and challenges that don't suit your purpose. And you also can choose to listen or not listen. And if you're not listening, then it doesn't do a whole lot of good to ask questions. Like if you're in a class and you're asking questions that a teacher or professor has already answered, it gets kind of monotonous, and it's a little bit of an irritant, kind of like a parasite, like a mosquito or something like that, or a gnat. It's kind of a little bit of an irritant, and typically people lash out in violence and try to squash the mosquitoes or the gnats. But I tend to try and express a little bit of patience to answer the questions that have been asked of me, and to further the conversations in ways that are a little bit more public. And that's why in the past I talked about this pain in my toe that I'd been experiencing and how it flared up when I talked to a person who basically hasn't really communicated with me properly for a long time. And so that's why I'm communicating these things on this channel. Because even though some people can't communicate with me properly, whether it's face-to-face, by phone, by text, by messages, even here on this platform, even though people can't seem to communicate, they are listening. And the more we focus the conversation on these aspects publicly, where other people can hear the responses, the more these people want to tune in and try to, do what they do. If they're a parasite, they'll try to buzz around and siphon energy. But the funny thing is, they don't recognize that as they continue to make themselves more and more into the parasite that they are, the more likely it is that someone else is going to swat at them and take care of the problem for whoever is being agitated. For me, again, it's not really an agitation to me, not nearly as much as the situation that I've been experiencing with my foot. And rather than continuing to put out a small tub of water, and even though that would be more conservative, rather than do that in places where I can't actually spend time relaxing for an extended period of time, I've simply been choosing to utilize the tub that I've had in this home since it was purchased. Some people don't use the tubs that they have in their homes, even if they purchased a home with a tub in it. Some people remodel the whole thing and change the situation that really they shouldn't have purchased to begin with. And I've found myself in those situations quite a bit. One year, I think I had something like 12 cars, and I got car after car after car, and none of those vehicles were vehicles that suited me. And then one day I found what I have currently, which is an off-road capable vehicle that's more than capable of handling rugged terrain, and safely at that. So while I'm attempting to regain my health, remember, health is wealth, I've been struggling quite a bit with certain things in the recovery phase. And so I've been lacking a little bit of wealth, and I don't feel embarrassed or ashamed to admit to that. However, I do feel a little bit uncouth in using this bath water, so much water, during these times when we know that there are water situations globally. The thing though is that with the money that I have and the opportunities that I have, I could either be spending all of my time going to, I don't know, the doctors. I could be spending all my time going to a river, which would take a lot of gas. Or I could basically try to knock out what I can close to home and then spend some water, which basically goes back into a system. And whether we can account for it or not, water will continue to do its thing, whether humanity is here or not. And the only thing that's going to pass away without hardly any of a blip of a register will be all of us. Now, I've had quite a few relatives pass away, younger and older than myself. And in some cases, the graves are tended to reverently. And in some cases, the graves are tended to by people who aren't even in my own family, who like to go and spray weed killer and poison on my ancestors' graves. And they don't think about doing something else, like maybe putting down fresh soil and maybe seeding the ground with beautiful flowers, so that during springtime, instead of weeds and stickers and basically the creatures that can survive in poisoned lands like red ants and, well, ants. It's a funny choice of words, by the way. When it comes to relatives, we have aunts as well, don't we? Aunts, ants. In some of my family, I think they must be about the same kind of thing, like an insectoid type thing that follows a hierarchy and can't really make its own decision. Anyway, I'm kind of deviating from the topic. The topic was basically listening skills. I've covered quite a few things in this short amount of time, and if you were really paying attention, you would know that the fact is that I could return to the couch, but this whole thing started with couch to 5K. And so sitting in the couch, probably the least productive of all the different ways that we can regain our health, is maybe not the right way for me to go. And maybe spending all day in a tub every day is also not the right way to go. And so for that reason, I try to use this opportunity sparingly. But while I'm here, and because I'm having to stay in one place, I try to multitask. And so if this is uncomfortable for you to experience, and if you're into prayer and maybe lending words of encouragement, maybe you can say a prayer to hopefully have your own health revitalized. And if you do feel some kind of a turning point where you feel healthy enough to say, hey, that guy encouraged me to do that, and now I feel better, maybe go ahead and return the favor and say some words of gratitude or praise that is in the direction of reducing the pain that other people are going through. Maybe not the pain that I'm going through, maybe I don't deserve to have any kind of a reduction in pain or any kind of a reduction in inflammation or even any kind of a growth of wealth. But if I do, then that is due to me. And so if I'm not getting credit for the work that I'm doing, like if people cover up my the credits on the photos that I've taken, and still continue to display those in the hotel chains where my photos are being displayed, or if they tell me they're going to use my photo in an exhibit and that I'm going to have credits on that photo in the exhibit and there are no credits, or if they put my picture on an informative sign, like for an example at the crossing between Texas and Mexico in the National Park of Big Bend, and then they don't put my credits on there, they don't give credit to the person who the photo came from, but they would do that for anyone else, then maybe I'm just unworthy of whatever credit that I'm supposed to be receiving. Or maybe it's being held in an account that can be distributed when the time comes. So in other words, maybe the worldly credit that's due to me is something that I've forgone in place of a more spiritual credit. And if all of that's true, then I'm going to continue to run through the pain, and I'm going to continue to try to do what I can to alleviate it in the methods that I have available to me. So if you're seeing me in the tub again and wondering why this is happening, and you're still questioning that even after all these words, you might have an attention deficit disorder. There are a lot of different things that require medications for some people who can't get their health back on track without medication, mostly because there's no effort. And there are things that we can put effort into to avoid having to take medications to reduce our attention deficit disorder. I hope that all makes sense. Until next time, thanks again for the questions. Thanks for subscribing. We're getting really close to 700 subscribers. We'll have a 700 club of our own talking about these things that clearly touch on the aspects of spirituality in ways that are truthful. So we either have the spirit of truth, or there's the thing that's here to kill, steal, and destroy. So be very mindful of which it is that you're talking to. Be very careful of what kind of an environment you're cultivating, and whether it's for the ants and for the parasites, or if it's instead for, the future, the lineage, whatever it is that we're passing on to the future. Till next time, peace, love, and all that old school stuff.